But, you know, you can see, we've seen it, the weather is getting better. And then, as Derek said, it's going to get worse. And Collier County officials really want to stress this right now. The water's rising there. We've seen in the past hour and a half, 7 feet of storm surge so far. And they are asking people, they're asking us to tell you, do not go out of your home because we're not done with this yet. Derek is talking about, you know, the storm surge is the really dangerous part of this storm. And, you know, given that it's weakening, we're hearing from people on Facebook and through email who are kind of doing a whoo. And we just really want to drive home the point that this is not over yet.
Come back, Derek, because we always want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's one of the things we try to stress, because I've been also consulting with some other meteorologists on this as well.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that we're trying to stress is that, you know, the storm surge threat is not over by any stretch of the imagination. It's actually going to only just beginning once the storm starts lifting north and those winds start coming back on shore. And as we saw earlier, Naples having that huge water rise of 7 feet in an hour as a result of the winds coming back on shore again. So that's the big water rise that we've been talking about. Now, we said that max would be 10 to 15 feet in some areas, and that would be on the high end, of course, that's at high tide. But really, the thing you need to take away from it is that we're going to be dealing with storm surge, and even though the storm is weakening, that does not necessarily mean that the threat is over or any less.
And if you're tracking that eye at the coast and going, oh my gosh, look at the northern part of our viewing area in Southwest Florida is getting it next. Just remember, if you're in Collier County, the danger has not passed because of the storm surge, something that Derek has explained it very well more than once to you, and that is, even though the eye is passing, there's that whip around effect from the storm surge.
That's right.
No, please, Derek, go.
No, I said that. Yeah, that's right. And so as the storm lifts northward, first it started with Collier County, and it's doing that right now. It's going to start slipping up into Lee County as the storm continues moving northward. So we're starting to see those winds turning onshore now in Collier County. We're going to start to see those southwesterly winds into Lee County and then eventually up into Charlotte County as the circulation continues to push northward up towards the Tampa area.
Where is the eye right now? Where is it, like the northern eye wall sitting?
Well, the way it looks now, and based on that, it looks like it is just northeast of Bonita Springs. So really, if you go down 82 and you go in between there and Immokalee, it looks like it's crossing over Highway 82 now. Mainly looks like just to the south of Lehigh Acres. So Lehigh Acres really is kind of in the midst of it, the back edge of it, perhaps going over into the Gateway area. But you could see that the leading edge of those really strong winds now pushing into LaBelle, but right in the middle of the eye wall now where some of those really nasty winds are occurring now would be Immokalee, as well as anywhere along Highway 82, back towards Lehigh Acres, and then back into the Fort Myers area. And that will continue pushing towards the north. So we're still looking at LaBelle and Palmdale and Arcadia that are next in line for the core of the storm that's going to continue tracking northward. That'll be in the next couple of hours.
Go ahead.
A lot of while we're on that subject, a lot of these inland areas, Arcadia, Palmdale, they've got huge trees. It's what I call old Florida. It is a beautiful area of the state. It really is. But you definitely get some big old growth trees in those areas because they're not as well developed. But that means with this kind of severe wind situation, you need to be very careful about where you're positioning yourself. Please keep that in mind.
And if you're in Collier County, obviously the storm surge is still coming, but Collier County Emergency Management working with our 4 in Your Corner crews that are there at the EOC saying do not go out on the roads. They are in terrible condition. That's what they're saying. Do not drive. They don't want people heading out to go check out their homes after this has passed, even after you think the storm surge has passed, because the roads are dangerous. They want you to wait basically for them to tell you that it's okay. And, you know, we'll obviously pass that on to you.
And we know it's hard to do. It was hard for you to probably leave your home behind, and then it's very hard not to return to your home when you want to on your own timetable. Your home is your castle. It's the American dream. We all know that there's a very strong emotional connection to the place that each one of us calls home. Just remember, at an hour like this, the place that's home for all of us is Southwest Florida. We all share it right now. Whatever happens in one area of Southwest Florida is going to affect us in another area. So let's get through this together. Please keep that patience going. We know if you're watching us from inside Germain Arena, you're in the largest shelter in Lee County. It's the place that's keeping you safe from the storm, but it could be providing some inconvenience for you and maybe a little bit of edge. Now that they're reporting some leakage in the ceiling there, they believe it's related to the weather. They say it's not completely uncommon. They know how to deal with it in the building, but let's get through this and don't be so anxious to get back and check on your property and your car and those things. We want to let you know we understand it, and we're in the same boats as you. We feel that, but we just don't want you to take any risks while we're still dealing with a major hurricane.
It seems like like this has picked up speed a little bit. We were previously talking about 9 miles an hour. Now it's up to 14.
Yeah, it was at 9, and then it was up to 12, down to 14. And so it is starting to accelerate northward a little bit. And I think that the way the storm is moving, the track is going to be a little bit more east than what the National Hurricane Center had with their last track as of the 5 o'clock advisory. So this looks like it's going to go due north. Now, I also want to say that Cape Coral is also getting into the northwestern part of the eye wall. Mm-hmm. So the Cape Coral and North Fort Myers now seeing some of the stronger winds with the outer edge of the eye wall on the northwest side. But the east side of the eye wall is now tracking through Immokalee, anywhere along Highway 29 up to LaBelle. Now, see, the track here is basically northwest by the Hurricane Center. But if you notice that the storm is taking more of a northward path, and we're going to go back to the radar in a minute. But let's put this through time here and show you how the Hurricane Center basically had the track going northwest. But notice how it's going due north. So with that earlier track, it looked like the center would at least try to go over Fort Myers and then eventually over perhaps the North Fort Myers area, Suncoast Estates, and then heading up into the Punta Gorda area. But now it looks like this thing is going to go due north in between I-75 and LaBelle there and continue north into DeSoto County and then eventually up into Polk and Hardy counties. So that's just kind of the way things are stacking up right now.
And we are getting, while Derek kind of checks in with our other meteorologist, Trevor Adams here, do you have some important information?
Yes, so we got the 7 o'clock position update. The eye wall of Irma is hammering Fort Myers, as we just said. The unofficial observing site in Cape Coral just measured a wind gust of 101 miles an hour. So 101 mile per hour wind gust was just reported from an observing site, unofficial one, in Cape Coral. The tidal gauge in Naples that we were talking about earlier measured a water level of 3.9 feet above mean higher water. So we're seeing this storm still with winds of 110 miles per hour as it tracks towards the north. And you see the pressure at 940 millibars. And the movement is still north at about 14 miles per hour. Thank you, Trevor. And as that continues moving northward there, it's going to continue spreading those stronger winds north along with it, especially near the eye wall.
And Derek